Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Inexperienced Podcast with me, Connor Gilmore. In this podcast, we will be talking all about starting uni as well as our hopes and dreams for the future. So without further ado, let's welcome our fourth guest, Kacper Hajda. Kacper Hajda, hello and welcome to the Inexperienced Podcast.
What's up, gamers?
Oh, okay. A strange intro. How are you feeling today? Are you excited for this?
I'm actually quite excited.
I know you were saying before you're quite excited. Is this your first podcast?
This is my first ever podcast I've ever done.
Nice. So you're feeling quite inexperienced.
Oh, of course.
You see what I did there?
But
So today we are at Hall Cross Academy, sixth form. Back where it all began.
OG.
Back where it all began.
Back when we were still youngsters.
So we are going to reminisce a little bit about our time here. However, we are also today going to talk a lot about the next couple of years, well, the next 3 years at least, of our lives, which is quite daunting when I put it that way.
It's something to look forward to, but as well as something to look scary of, because
Definitely.
we have a few months to our results, which will tell us where we're going next in our lives, whether it's uni or straight to a job, or maybe researching a year.
Yeah, well, you're not wrong, but let's talk about life at Hall Cross. How did you find life as a sixth former in general?
As a sixth former, I really enjoyed it. For some reason, it was a lot better than I thought. I was thinking it's going to be something along the lines of a secondary school again. Like, teachers being quite reserved, like, you just getting along.
Yeah.
But I was pleasantly surprised who I made friends with, how I had more of a friendly relationship with my teachers, and also just like making a more pleasurable time. It was a really nice experience to be able to come up to a teacher, have some banter with them, but they will also help you.
Well, yeah, it makes you feel a lot older, I think, doesn't it?
A more mature environment.
Yes, it gives you that independence, and it makes you have that maturity. And if you don't have the required level of maturity, then you can't succeed, because the teachers just don't have any respect for you, and they don't want to help you unless you can be mature. Talking of teachers, who was your favourite teacher?
Oh, that's a difficult topic, because I did have a close relationship with most of my teachers, excluding Mr. Williams.
I don't think many people have had a good time. No, I can't say that. Let's not finish that sentence. Let's move on.
Yeah. Well, I would say Mr. Kirkham's. I think Mr. Kirkham was definitely my favourite teacher. He spent a lot of time after school with me. He always asked if I need help. We always had a small joke. We always talked about gamers, because we're both
nice.
We're both big gamers at heart, so we decided to talk about games a lot. And I just really enjoyed his time like he gave me and helped me through physics.
Oh, cool. And you said he's your physics teacher. Yeah. So what are your other subjects that you've just finished?
I finished biology and computer science.
And am I right in thinking you started with history as well and then dropped down?
So I went from 4 to 3 because I thought the pressure was a little bit too much. It also helped me allocate more of my time to other subjects.
That was the same with me, because I dropped down from 4 to 3 because I wanted 3 good results rather than 4 not very good results.
Yeah.
And then you get a little bit more time to put more effort into your other subjects as well if you drop down to 3. So
I mean, as well as you get a bit more free time, like, let's not lie, you weren't going to use all your free periods to do studying. You should, but sometimes you have
get a little bit more freedom
to breathe, have a breather.
Yeah, well, that's exactly how I would put it, really. But do you think you settled into sixth form quite easily back 2 years ago?
I think it was quite easy, especially with you in biology.
I mean, we were quite lucky that we had a nice group in biology. But I remember the first day we were in one of the maths classrooms.
Oh.
And you and Chelsea, who's also on the podcast, were the first 2 people I spoke to who I didn't know at sixth form. And I'm so glad I did, because
we became great.
Now we're like with a group of best mates, So.
Yeah, we always go out partying and stuff. It'll be your time soon, Connor.
I know, I'll be 18 soon. Jesus Christ. But do you think you'll find making friends like that easy, or more difficult at uni?
It's going to be a very mature environment then, because everyone's 18, everyone decided what they want to do. And
Yes.
I think that's also kind of a driving force we had when we met each other. We all were sort of already matured, ready for sixth form.
Yeah, as opposed to a lot of other people who were still treating it as normal school.
Like we all started to take it more serious, and I think having the maturity, knowing another person's mature, kind of makes it easier to bond, because you know that like you can talk for more mature topics. You can also be silly as well, like have banter, but it can be more mature banter, and it's also quite. I would say it would if going to uni, I would probably be able to make some friends as well. But it'll be harder as well, because people will probably be reserved to themselves, because they'll be focusing on themselves to try to go.
Yeah, and I mean that's what you've got to try and avoid, I suppose, when you're, especially for the first week, or even like the moving in week before freshers, is being open and letting people talk to you and making the effort to talk to other people. And we are going to talk a little bit more about tips for making friends and meeting people a little bit later on in this podcast. But I want you to tell me a little bit about what you're doing in September, or what you hope to do in September.
In September, I'm hoping to go to the University of Lincoln, as probably Callum is.
Yes.
Who was on your podcast as well.
Yes.
So I've been thinking about going to Lincoln, hopefully, because I got a conditional offer of a BBC. And my physics was all over the place throughout the year. So I don't know, I'm really not confident with what I get in physics, but I'm hopefully on track to get the grades I need to go to Lincoln.
Oh, good.
So,
good.
If so, I'm going to Lincoln in September and studying computer science for 3 years. And
interesting.
I want to have an option in mind of maybe after 3 years going to a master's degree for computer science.
Oh, that'd be quite cool. I wonder how many people actually stay on and do masters, because, you know, it's that little bit extra, isn't it?
And especially if you're not doing an integrated masters, you have to stay on for like an extra 3 years, was it?
Really?
That's not 2
That's
years.
a commitment.
There is a commitment, but you get technically a higher degree.
Yes.
And also doing something you love, so it's like.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's what uni is, isn't it? When you're doing a subject you really, really love, it doesn't feel like work, I suppose, or at least that's what I hope.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll probably go there and find out the situation's very
different. We'll probably
different.
just be sat there like, oh God, what did I pick?
Well, that was like sixth form though. Like, it was good for the first couple of months,
and
then you end up hating all the subjects that you used to love.
And then you'll be like, I want to go home. I just want to go home and not come back.
But Lincoln is a lovely, lovely city.
Oh, I must agree. I totally agree with that.
And I've been doing my research, actually, so I can give you a few fun facts about Lincoln. Did you know that it is twinned with 2 different cities in Poland?
Ooh.
Yeah, and this interested me to talk with you about, because you are indeed Polish. And I'm going to actually show you the names in just a second, so you can try and pronounce it.
Radomsko.
Radomsko?
Radomsko.
Did I pronounce that all right?
That was.
Or did I butcher it? I probably butchered it.
You probably butchered it, but let's say you did all right.
This one looks a bit harder. What's that one?
Oh, that's Łódź, Wodosław province. It's basically a province.
Oh, like a whole province.
Yeah. That's Łódź. It's an area in Poland which is found near I believe it's not far away from Poznań.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, you probably don't know.
I say that in agreement, but I actually have no idea. Yeah, I'm not going to go into about there, because we want to talk a little bit more about Lincoln, but that's a nice little fact for you.
Interesting.
And another fact from you. You actually used to live in Lincoln as well, didn't you?
For 7 years.
For 7 years. How old were you when you came to the UK?
I came to the UK when I was 6. I was just turning 7. So I came to Lincoln when I was 6 in 2007.
Right.
And then I moved out in 2014.
Oh, so you've lived in Lincoln longer than you've lived in Doncaster?
Yes, I have. I've been... I mean, it's coming up to living around the same.
Yeah, and I was trying to work it out in my head really quickly. It's about the same, but just longer.
Just a little bit longer, yeah.
In Lincoln, and then you'll extend that lead hopefully in September.
Yeah. However, I'm not planning to live in Lincoln. I do maybe want to move back to Doncaster because I do prefer, as much as it's smaller than Lincoln, and there's not as many like cool landmarks to visit, like the Lincoln Cathedral or the Castle of Lincoln.
Yes.
There's it's still Doncaster has a huge place in my heart because that's where I really met people I could call my second family.
Oh, that's a lovely sentiment, Kacper. I've got some facts about Lincolnshire in general, rather than just Lincoln specifically, just so we can add a little bit more. But did you know that the first ever policewoman who was granted the powers of arrest was indeed from Lincolnshire, and that was around about 100 years ago?
Oh, wow. So it's coming up to the anniversary of the first arrest done by a woman.
Yeah, she was
Go for women power.
She was called Edith Smith, and she was a former midwife who worked 7 days a week for 2 years between 1915 and 1917. So it's just over 200 years.
Wow.
Her main duties were to deal with women who sold their bodies on the streets.
Well then.
I'm gonna leave that pause in.
Yeah.
Next fact: the Magna Carta.
Oh yes.
Is stored within Lincoln Castle.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I have.
I've seen it.
It's a nice piece of art.
This, of course, is when King John signed it, so he gave up a few of his powers to give us more freedom.
Freedom for freedom and liberty.
Okay. So, as a physicist yourself,
excuse me and physics. Okay. Go on.
I've got a little question for you. Do you know which famous physicist, stroke scientist in general, is from Lincolnshire?
Oh God.
In fact, his house is owned by the National Trust and you can still visit it today.
It's not Isaac Newton, is it?
It is Isaac Newton.
It's Isaac
yes,
Newton.
And the tree underneath which he
apparently discovered gravity.
Supposedly discovered gravity is actually at the house just outside his window in Lincolnshire. And yeah, apparently you can go and see it. It was in 1642 he was born, apparently. And he made the discovery of gravity during the plague years of 1666 to 1667.
The Great Fire of London happened in 1666.
You see, maybe you should have kept on doing history, Kacper.
Well.
Have you heard of Dick Turpin?
No, I haven't.
Everyone thinks they know the story of Dick Turpin's highway glory, but my past is far more gory. Was no saint.
Any idea now?
Oh, Horrible Histories.
He was featured on Horrible Histories, but he's the highwayman, the famous highwayman, right? The guy who would stop horse carriages and steal the stuff, basically. He often used Lincoln as his poaching ground, apparently.
Oh, wow.
His real name was John Palmer, and he was arrested eventually for stealing chickens, and he wrote a letter back to his family from prison. The plot twist was that the postman saw the handwriting on the letter, and the postman was the person who taught him how to write. Oh, wow. So, although he'd gone to prison as John Palmer, he knew that he was using a fake name, and he was actually Dick Turpin, so that's how they ended up finding out who he was, and they hung him in the end.
Oh, wow.
So that's a little bit of fun for you.
That's a bit of fun fact of Lincolnshire.
Finally, I've got quite an obscure fact for you, but I thought I'd include it because I think it's quite interesting. The first ever barcode was featured in a shop within Lincoln. And the site, although it's different now, there's actually a Morrison's there now, apparently, according to this article. For 10 bonus points. Now there is. What product was the barcode on?
Oh, God. Was it a gum? A chewing gum?
It wasn't chewing gum. No, it was tea bags. Melrose tea bags, to be precise.
Tea bags. So, the typical British one, drinking the tea.
Well, that actually leads on to our next little game. Typical Britishman. You're a Polishman, right?
Of course.
You're from Poland. However, at uni, you can't be Polish, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not going down a racist line here. This leads into our game, okay?
Yeah.
Our game is
Just singing out for free in God's own country. I'm Yorkshire till I die.
Yorkshire till I die. I'm Yorkshire till I die. I'm Yorkshire till I die. I'm Yorkshire till I die. Do you know this song? It's called Yorkshire Till I Die. It's by the famous MC Devo.
Ooh.
All right, and our game is testing how Yorkshire you are. All right.
God.
Well, no, it's not just how Yorkshire you are, because I mean, at heart, I think you're a real Northerner.
Yeah.
So I've got this quiz. It's a BuzzFeed quiz. You can find it on the internet if you want to try it at home. And it gives you a percentage of how northern and how southern you are, okay?
Okay.
So yesterday evening, I did the test, and I got 82% northern, 18% southern. All right? And as a proud Yorkshireman, I'm fairly pleased with that, all right? 82% northern is the score to beat. So for you, considering you're not British, but you have lived in the north past handful of years, we're going to see how northern this says you are, okay?
Yeah.
So I think a good score to beat is about 75%. You want to be 3/4 northern, don't you?
Of
Right.
course, northern overway.
So
100 would be perfect, but
the first question is, which of the following shops is closest to your house? Is it Greggs, Waitrose, Morrison's, or Sainsbury's?
none of them are really close. Sainsbury's.
Sainsbury's, do you think? The one in town?
I could go to the one in Edenthorpe. It would probably be closer than the one in town.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, that's what we selected. Sainsbury's for that. Next question. What do you think of London? And the options are, it's all, right? I'll give you a clue. That's the correct answer. If you go to London, you'll either be mugged or not appreciated. A great visit for a day, or the best city in the world.
Option 1.
Option 1, shithole.
It's too big of a city for myself, for my liking.
Apologies if there's anyone listening from London, but it's a shithole. It's nice for a day out.
It's nice
to like walk around, but like I would not want to live there.
No,
because it's just
seems
so
like
busy.
Busy, and also you keep hearing stories about people getting knifed, mugged.
Oh, I know. There's a lot less crime up here. I mean, it's still rife, like, but. Anyway, I'm talking more northern now. I'm doing this quiz. That's all like right, Yorkshire, me. You know what I mean, eh?
Hey,
you're right, duck. You're right, cocker. Anyhow, so where does the north start? Okay, so it's A, B, C, D, or E for this, and there's a picture, but I'm going to have to try and describe it for the sake of the listeners. Okay, so E is just above London. D is slightly higher, about halfway through Wales. C is about where Doncaster is. B is about where Newcastle is. And A is almost at the border with Scotland.
I would say around Doncaster. That's around where.
Around Doncaster. So
Yeah.
that's option C.
Yeah.
All right.
I think like
That's Doncaster included in that one.
yeah, because I think below Doncaster it starts to get posher. Like Lincoln's already starting to get more southern.
Southern, do you think?
Yeah, it's still
Okay,
quite north.
interesting.
But I think if you looked at Lincoln, I think you would still maybe have more correlation to like London than like the north, Scotland, Leeds, and
Fair enough. Next, are you related to all of your aunties? And this is a yes or no.
no.
No. Why?
Why? Well, I mean, some of the aunties are more like my mom's friends, and she decided to be my. They decided to be my aunties because we had more of a closer relationship than my aunties, and also some of my aunties are step aunties. So basically, my mom's mom died when she was very young.
Okay.
So when my mom's father, my granddad,
Yeah.
married in to another woman, she had kids already, and they became my aunties.
All right, but generally speaking, your auntie's mum's friends, right? Yeah?
One of them. Like, I don't... One or two.
Yeah? I think that's quite a Yorkshire thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it might be different for you, but you ask anyone who's, like, got Yorkshire family, they'll call all of the mum's friends auntie whatever.
Yeah.
Right? And, like, the godparents as well are always called auntie someone.
Yeah,
you know.
Let's just put it out of the yes. Because...
Yeah. So we'll put that as a yes. Next question is, what is your TV pointed at? So we want the name of the seat, the thing that you sit on.
My bed.
Okay, what about in your living room, though?
My sofa.
You'll call it a sofa. So the options here are sofa, settee, couch, or I don't have a TV.
I do.
I mean, you do have a TV. I mean, most people have a TV.
Yeah.
I don't really know why that's option on it, but sofa, you're saying sofa?
Yeah.
I'd probably say so. I think I chose sofa yesterday.
Because if you, like... I would say it's a better idea to just, like, have it, like, you can have a family time on a sofa. Like, you know, people can... More than one person can sit on next to you and you can just chill and watch some telly.
That's a lovely picture. Thanks, Kacper.
No worries. Family-friendly content.
Lovely. That's what we like. What are the chances of you being able to buy a house where you live now? And this is in the future.
To be fair, we have a council house, so we have an option of buying the house we currently have, like, in 5 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it at a really cheap price as well. So potentially the house we are at currently we'll be able to buy.
Nice. So more generally speaking from that then, Doncaster in general, it's a lot easier to buy a house than
For instance,
London.
Lincoln or London.
Is Lincoln quite hard? Do you
Yeah. The houses there are so difficult. We've been, like, it's a very tight space. Like, if you look at the not infrastructure, but if you look at the buildings of
Yeah.
Lincoln compared to Doncaster, it's more tightly compact, and the houses get filled up so fast. But it's, like, really hard to just get a...
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of Lincoln, although it's bad for people who want to try and get a house there, it paints a good picture for the city.
Definitely.
Because it means it's very popular with the people, which
Yeah.
obviously shows good stuff about it.
It is a very great city to live at. Like, you have so much to do there. Like, there's so many places you can go that it's never really too boring to... As in, let's say in Doncaster, sometimes we run out of ideas where to go.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, like, sometimes we decide to go to, like, the neighbouring town, Sheffield, because we get to do more things than here. But in Lincoln, there's always something to do. Either you can go to the cathedral, the castle, and go to, like, the old race course, which is if you come from Doncaster to Lincoln on the A1,
Yes.
you get to see the old race course.
Yeah.
And you can just visit so many places and have a look at Lincoln as a city, and it never really gets boring.
Yeah, there is a lot to do, and I mean, I'm sure it will be exciting to go back there for you as a student, because you'll sort of see Lincoln in a new light, in a way, won't you?
Yeah, because I will get to go to the uni. I will also get to see it. Like, I also have the memories of me coming here,
Yeah.
being raised up and be the man I am today.
Lovely. So, next question. I'm going to show you a picture now, and I want you to tell me what the picture's of.
Okay.
Okay? And I'll explain why after. So, what is that?
It's grass.
Grass. The question is, grass or grass?
Grass.
How do you say it?
When I just
Grass.
Grass. I just say grass.
Lovely. That is the correct pronunciation.
Yeah.
I can't wait to have these arguments about Bath or Bath.
Or bath.
Path or path. Or the scone scone thing will not even start on.
Oh, no.
That I think that's probably one of the top things that will cause freshers fallouts. Is arguing over pronunciation of scone scone.
BuzzFeed presents top 10 fallouts at freshers.
Well, that's it though, isn't it? That's what will happen.
It's really just like, it depends on the area. Some people say Bath, some say Bath.
Yeah, but the people who say Bath are wrong. That's the thing. Next up, how well do you know your neighbours? Not at all. I've smiled at them once. I know their names and we make awkward small talk. Really well, I'm related to them.
I wish I was related to my neighbours. It would be so cool just to pop over and be like...
I know. I mean, my family all live over in Northern Ireland, don't they? So
Yeah.
I wish they were my neighbours.
I do know them quite well. Like, I do know one side of my neighbourhood and we had new neighbours move in recently, and I didn't have a chance to talk to them yet.
So would you say then, I know their names and we make awkward small talk?
Yeah, I think
Rather than really well, because you say you
Yeah.
don't really know one of them. We'll put that, because it's sort of in the middle, so you know them a little bit.
Yeah,
It's fair enough. Have you ever eaten scraps?
of course, yes.
Oh, yes, delicious.
Yeah.
What are scraps then?
Isn't scraps pig? Like, is it pig?
Oh no, they're scratchings.
Scratchings.
I'm on about scraps from the fish and chip shop.
No, I don't think I have.
Oh, I'll have to change your answer, Kacper.
I know, I'm sorry.
What are scraps? Do you know what are scraps
No,
are?
I actually don't know.
Well, before I tell you what they are, I'll tell you a little bit of a story about my dad, right?
Yeah.
He's from Northern Ireland, but when he first came over to England, he was like, I'll get fish and chips for tea. All right, so he goes into the fish and chip shop, and the lady serves him and says, do you want scraps? And my dad goes, no, I want a fish. Because he didn't, it's like you, he's like, no, I didn't know what scraps are, but what scraps are, they're little, like, crumbs of batter.
Oh.
They're like left over in the fryer after they've cooked your fish. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
Now?
I do. Yeah.
Well, I'll have to carry on with what are scraps, because
That's fine.
I think that puts you more in the south, because scraps are quite a northern thing.
Yeah,
They're quite a Northern England thing. Like my dad in Northern Ireland, apparently didn't know what they were. They don't exist over there, or didn't when he was growing up.
I'm not gonna lie, I've never heard the phrase, when I got fish and chips from Lincoln, I never heard those terms as well. So
If someone sees you and says, all right, cock, how do you react? Punch them in the face, scowl and walk away, smile politely, maybe have a chat.
maybe have a chat.
Yeah. I mean, you're quite a talkative person, so I mean, you'd talk to anyone, wouldn't you?
I would probably be like, "Aye, mate," or something. Just
You
like,
sounded cockney like that. All right, mate, how's it going, governor?
"Hey, governor, you all right?"
Your cockney accent's so funny. Moving on. How does the water that comes out of your taps taste? Good or bad?
Bad.
Bad. Think that puts you in the south again.
It's a weird.
Northern water genuinely tastes nice, apart from if you go to Hull. Hull's water is apparently is disgusting because it's really hard.
My water's really hard as well. To be fair, in Canterbury, when I wasn't, I'm talking through respective of my current house.
Yes.
When I used to drink tap water all the time from my house when I used to live right next to school.
Yes.
That was brilliant. But the water we have in Canterbury, Jesus Christ, it tastes so hard. It's weird.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. It's 20 degrees in the middle of summer, as it was the other day, which means, what? Taps off. You'll probably burn, but it'll be worth it. Bit disappointing, to be honest, or I'll wear a jacket.
I think the first option.
Taps off.
Taps off.
That means save water.
Oh, no, never mind. Taps off.
The next one is I'll probably burn, but it will be worth it.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
So, we're going to do the next three quick fire, okay?
Yeah.
Someone who you don't know talks to you on the bus, what do you do?
Just talk back.
If someone calls you pal, what does it mean?
A friend.
How proud are you of the country you live in?
I'm quite proud.
You're quite proud. Your choices are, I'd go to war for it. In fact, a lot of people have. Or, not really, but if someone slags them off, I will end them. One or the other.
I would go for the second option. I don't really want to go to war.
Okay, fair. I have your result. What do you want? I know I gave you the benchmark of 75%.
I was something above 65.
Above 65. Well, Kacper, your results are 56% northern,
Oh shit.
44% southern. Oh, Kacper.
I was kind of expecting it to be quite southern.
You need a little bit more practice, mate. But, I mean, you've got all summer. But if anyone asked you at uni, What's your answer going to be? Northerner or southerner?
Northern.
Northern. And you've got to fight for the North because the North is the best country, all right?
All right.
The best country, the best part of the country.
I mean, you kind of.
I mean, the North, I think, should be its own country. Or just Yorkshire should be an independent state.
An independent state and fight for our freedom.
Think how good Yorkshire would be if it was an independent country.
It would be Yorkshire.
In terms of land size, Yorkshire won the previous Olympics. I think it was the 2016 one. It might have been 2012. But, because of all the medals that were won by Team GB, there was such a high concentration of medals from Yorkshire that it could have competed as its own independent country and still come in the top 10.
Oh, wow.
Out of all the countries in the world, which I think is quite an impressive
Yorkshire
fact
for
about
country
Yorkshire.
2020.
I know, and you're leaving and going to Lincolnshire. I know I'm leaving and going to Greater Manchester, but Yorkshire's where the heart is, though. To be honest, isn't it? We've got to stay patriotic to God's own country.
White Rose all the way.
Right, White Rose all the way.
I am correct in saying White Rose is Yorkshire, isn't it?
Oh, Kacper, you can tell why you didn't do very well on that test, lovely. Yes, the White Rose is the Yorkshire flag.
No, because I know the War of the Roses, but I was always just like...
Bless you.
It's...
Yep, we have the White Rose. And when's Yorkshire Day? For another 10 bonus points.
Yorkshire Day?
Yeah. My favourite day.
I know.
Yorkshire Day is on the 1st of August every year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think it's the first.
I
Yes,
have to remember
the
that.
first. I love Yorkshire.
I need to become the true #1 fan of Yorkshire.
You need to get yourself a big long walking stick and a flat cap and like a farmer's jacket and just walk about herding sheep.
It's not a lot, but it's honest work.
Well, but yeah, I mean Yorkshire's great. I think
I do
personally.
I do like it more than Lincolnshire.
But as I said, we are leaving it. And we're leaving a lot of friends behind.
I would definitely try to keep in contact with everyone.
Well, with that point, we're going to talk about making new friends. So, you're rubbing your hands together with great vigour there, Kacper.
Making friends is my speciality.
So, first of all, we're going to start by talking about, before we go to uni, the ways in which you can set up friendships and set up meeting people and getting used to talking with people before you even meet them in person, all right? So,
already got you covered.
My first tip is to join online groups for university and accommodation on social media. So, me personally, I'm in a massive University of Salford applicants Facebook page, and then through that there's links to different group chats on Facebook. One of them's with my other applicants for TV and radio, and then one of them's from my housing building as well. And unfortunately I've not found anyone in my flat yet, but I'm hoping in the next few weeks someone else will pop up on that group chat. So it's a good way of getting. Well, I wouldn't say getting to know people because you can't know someone very well unless you met them personally.
But a good way to start making contact.
You can put names to faces. And then if people feel more familiar because you've seen them on Facebook.
Yeah, definitely.
So, do you have any tips for before going to uni?
I would totally agree with social media. I'm currently in my Lincoln group chat. There's 2 full group chats of people who go into Lincoln, and they have subgroup chats for computer science, biology, and all that jazz. So I definitely say go on social media, get involved. A lot of universities also offer like friend services, like getting to know people.
Yes.
So definitely get involved in that. They can be a huge help. They can email you. They can from emails to contact numbers to like just involving you into group chats of people who also want to make friends. But definitely, like, I'm in a Discord group as well. I don't know if you know what Discord is.
Yes, yeah.
It's a new social platform where you can talk to people. And I've came to a Lincoln group chat, and I've started meeting a lot of new people. I've also met with someone who's going to Lincoln, but is from Doncaster.
Oh, wow.
And we met up.
Interesting.
So I've already started to put names to faces, and
So you made a good start,
Yeah.
basically. The next thing that I think is a good idea before you go to uni is think about what you can pack to take to uni that is like of a talking point or a way in which getting people together. So things like Cards Against Humanity. I know we've both got that card game. I think personally that's a great way of getting people together, and you can learn a bit about people's sense of humour, and not just the game, but it leads into conversations and it gets people chatting about stuff.
That's true. Like I remember one of the turning points of meeting people. I bought Cards Against Humanity, and we all just sat around and decided to play it. And that's how I do NTF.
Yes.
I bought it for a second. Went to the Leicester, and I bought them, and then we all just sat around the table, started playing, and all got to know each other's humour and decided to chat about it as well.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got something like that to connect over, it makes it a lot easier to chat, I think. Have you got another tip for us?
Make sure what freshers events are happening, because...
Okay, yeah, nice one.
Because you will need to, if you want to find friends, freshers events are the thing. Like, I've in my Lincoln Discord, we've already been discussing what freshers events people want to go to. And it's a huge meeting point for people, because if you're talking to group chats, you can make friends from the group chats, from just online friends to real life friends, by going to the events and enjoying them together. Like, I'm going to karaoke, although my voice is absolutely terrible. I'm going to karaoke with people and deciding to just YOLO it.
I mean, yeah, like keeping an eye on the student unions,
Exactly.
Facebooks and websites, because they're the events that are only for the students. So you know that everyone there is in the same boat as you, really. And you don't have to go to the ones where everyone drinks. There's
all sorts of events.
You can explore and see what else is happening rather than just going out and getting drunk.
Exactly.
Because that's not what freshers should only be about.
Another tip I have is join societies.
Yes, well, we were going to go on to that actually. But look, and I mean, a lot of most unis have a societies fair.
Yeah.
At some point within Freshers Week or in like a welcome week, and walk around and look at what's on offer, because there's some really, really obscure things, like, I'm sure.
In Lincoln, there's a society which I'm thinking of joining, which is totally not me, but it's called Assassin Society.
Okay, expand.
It's basically, you get contact, you basically get a name, and you have to think of creative ways to assassinate, quotation marks, assassin, sorry.
Okay.
In which way you basically try to think of the most creative way. I don't know if by assassination I mean like throw a water balloon in the most creative way at them or something like that. Not actually kill them, but like,
all right, okay. So I'm less concerned now.
It's like a game. It's basically you kill someone by like doing it creatively, and the more creative you do, the more points you get in the society, and you can like win things from it and stuff.
That sounds quite interesting.
And
I mean that's exactly what I mean by shopping around, because like you can find stuff that you'd never even imagine that would be so much fun.
Exactly.
But we're hopefully going to chat a little bit more about societies in one of our other episodes. But definitely shop around and find something that you love and find people with common interests.
Indeed, like people with common interests are your probably turning point in university. It will make it so much easier just to be able to make a conversation. Definitely, as always, if you have another good tip I have is if you're reading a book, be able to show it. And if you're like in a library and see a cool book, make a conversation with a person. People like talking about the things they read.
Yeah, good extra point there, Kacper. I mean, we've spoken a lot about meeting new people, but before we move on to what we want to do when we start uni, I want to remind people that it's important to stay in touch with people at home.
Oh, yes.
Because although, I mean, in our friendship group, we're all really, really close now, it'd be a shame to let people drift away, right?
Exactly.
And I mean, everyone's got to branch off and come find their own new friends at uni. But I think it's important to stay connected with people as well. So even if that's like the odd message, just asking people how they're getting on at their new place and them asking you how you're doing, or Skyping them and having a chat like that, or FaceTiming, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think it's important to stay with people at home. And then you can even, if you're staying well enough contact, you can arrange that you come back to visit your families on the same weekend, so you can still meet up regularly and still see each other. So that's a little bit nice as well, I think.
That's adorable, Connor.
Oh, thanks, Kacper. I try.
We've been... Well, I agree with you totally. Like, although I'm moving away, I always want to keep in contact with the people that I became so close to over the 2 years of sixth form. It's been a great pleasure of being with them, spending time, going parties, having a great time with them. And I don't want to just, once I go to uni, just lose all contact.
You don't want to forget about that. It's different, I think, at secondary, because a lot of people go into the same place this year. And there's less people, I think, that you like in inverted commas.
Yeah.
In year 11, but at sixth form, you meet friends that you get a lot closer to. You've got a smaller number of friends, but they're better friends.
Yeah.
And you don't want to lose that, so it's important to hold on to it. But once you do start uni, there's some rules, some non-written rules that I think you should follow to not be the bad guy, basically, to keep friends rather than throw them away. So the first one I'd say is don't be the messy housemate. I think that is the worst thing you can do.
I think I do need to. I'm not gonna lie. I'm still kind of a messy person at heart. I struggle to keep a tidy room for a long time. So I'm definitely having to over the summer work on that because
my room and my general tidiness did slip during exams, but I mean in the past 2 weeks my bedroom's totally transformed. I've got rid of so much stuff, but you have to keep that up at uni, because people won't have the respect if you do slide. If something's not done, people will rip into you and they'll start to very thoroughly dislike you if you're not careful.
Yeah, indeed.
So you have to go the extra mile, and you have to be empathetic towards people and treat your space how you'd want other people to treat it as well. Leave it how you'd want to find it.
Exactly.
Probably the general rule.
And obviously it doesn't have to be pitch perfect, clean, sparkly lights everywhere. But obviously just keep it nice and tidy. Remember, it's also your working environment. You have to work in it, and a nice and clean space will make it a lot easier to work in, because
tidy house, tidy mind.
Exactly.
So next tip is going to be from you. Do you know any?
Try to organize outings together. For example, you can go out together with your newly found friends or apartment mates to go and do a Nando's trip together, for instance, or go out visit the town you live in, because chances are you haven't lived in the town before, so being with your flatmates and going out together.
Sorry, it sounded like you said fat mates.
Flatmates.
Flatmates. Yeah, go out with your flatmates.
Just explore and go out together, do something fun.
And when you say that, it doesn't have to be expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
Although in the first few weeks of September we'll have just received our student finance and all that. We don't have to blow it all at once.
Exactly. It's you don't have to go to a bar and get absolutely trashed.
No, you could just go for a walk throughout the local area and just explore.
I know this is very nerdy, but go out to a board game shop. They are cheap, and a lot of them provide you with seats where you can use and play a board game with each other. And a lot of them, if it's not a board game cafe, they normally don't make profit on people using the tables. So you can just sit down and just enjoy your time playing a board game, and they could provide you with a board game from what they have opened up in stock.
Yeah, well, that's a great idea, actually. I might see if there's any in Manchester.
I know Lincoln.
I'm sure there will be.
I know Lincoln has a board game shop, and recently Doncaster opened up a board game cafe.
Yes,
Because
I've seen.
I've been there. It's £3.50 for a person, but you can use the tables however long you want. The staff are really friendly, and it's just a great atmosphere. You can even talk to other people there. You can meet other people as well.
Yeah. So my final point is we've touched on it a little bit, but if someone invites you to do something, make the extra effort to do it.
Yeah, I do. Totally.
And I mean, there's not really much more to expand on with that point. I just think it's important. You have to want to make friends or make connections.
Exactly.
And you've also got to be aware or got to bear in mind that everyone you meet won't turn out to be your best mate.
Yes.
You have to talk to more than one person. You can't just meet the first person who walks into your flat the first day you're there and be, oh, you're my friend for life, because it might happen, but it probably won't. You have to go looking for people, and you have to find people. But like on the first week when you move in, keep your door open to your room if you're living in a flat with people. Offer to help lift boxes, make them a cup of tea, and show an eagerness and a readiness to connect with people. And don't be one of those freshers who are like a tortoise, who just go into the shell and cower away in a new place that's scary to them, because you'll find that everyone else makes friends really quickly because they've reached out, and then you're left and you've sort of...
Yeah.
You'll end up with the feeling that you've been left behind, and that's obviously something everyone wants to avoid.
That's a very true point. Like, just as I would say, keep your heart open. Like, just show them some heart. Like, just be there for people. Like, they need help, show them. Like, if you're talking to someone new and they say, "Would you like to go out somewhere?" Be like, "Yeah, sure." No matter if it costs, like, let's say, if they're going out for a beer, it doesn't necessarily mean you will have to drink a beer if you don't want to.
Well, at the end of the day, everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's going through the same sort of new environment experience, and everyone wants a friend at the end of the day.
Exactly.
So, in conclusion, in summary of our points, join university group chats and accommodation group chats on social media.
Make sure to look out for freshers events.
Think about what sort of things you might pack or take with you to uni to help connect with people.
Decide how you want to contact your family.
Once you have started uni, try and organise a flat outing to try and help connect more with your flatmates.
Don't be the messy housemate and make sure to tidy up after yourself.
And finally, if someone invites you to do something, make the extra effort to say yes. And I think that's the main point, isn't it? It's giving it a bit of effort and being brave and going out there and trying to get more friends. So, at the end of our podcast, how are you feeling? Are you feeling a little bit less inexperienced when it comes to starting uni?
But of course, there's still a lot of inexperience, but I feel, whilst talking through this entire...
Do you feel a little bit more excited?
I feel a lot more excited. Like,
good.
Just talking.
That's what we want.
I'm more prepared to start a new chapter of my life.
Yes, I mean, with every recording, I'm feeling even more excited and even more prepared now. As we learn more and more about starting uni, what we've also learned in the previous episodes is that no one leaves the Inexperienced Podcast empty-handed. So, I've ordered something very, very important for you, okay? And this is something that you have to promise me you'll take to uni, and you have to display it with pride, okay? We spoke about it earlier, so I've ordered a Yorkshire flag for you.
Oh my God.
All right? And so you can stay proud of your true home. I know you might be from Poland, you might have lived in Lincoln for however many years, but Yorkshire is your true home.
Yorkshire
right?
number one.
Yorkshire is number one. So, yes, Yorkshire flag for you. That is for a thank you for joining me on the podcast.
Well, thank you, Connor, so much. I was surely displayed with the biggest pride of getting a gift from my friend.
That's what I like to hear.
And just as a thank you.
Lovely, lovely. thanks again for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me.
No problem. It's been great fun. Let's hopefully see you maybe next year, and we'll talk a little bit more about your first year at uni.
Oh, yes. That would be amazing.
Lovely. But in the meantime, goodbye, Kacper.
Bye.
Bye-bye. The Inexperienced Podcast was first recorded in June and July of 2019. Find out more by searching for The Inexperienced Podcast on Instagram. The special guest for episode 3 was Kacper Hajda, and it was a Connor Gilmore production.